Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. So in today's video we're going to be learning how to cut a three-part corset. So if it's something you would love to learn, please keep on watching. So let's go right into it. The first thing is to get our basic measurement. So this top of the paper here is my shoulder line, which is my starting point as well. So I'm going to come down from my shoulder line to mark my bust point, which is 10. I'm going to repeat the same thing here to get a straight line. From my shoulder I'm going to come down to mark my under bust. And I'm going to repeat the same thing here to get a straight line. From my shoulder, I'll come down to mark my waist point, and I'm going to repeat the same thing to get a straight line. I'll go ahead and extend all this line across. So I'll go ahead and label the lines. This is my bust line, my under bust line, and my waist line. So I'll come to the top of the paper here, divide my shoulder by 2. My shoulder divided by 2 is 7.5. I'm going to mark it right here on the shoulder line. Come down by 1 inch for my shoulder slope. Then I'm going to mark my basic neck of 3 inches. I'll come down to mark 3 inches for my neck depth as well. And I'm going to connect the 2 points together with my French curve. Then I'll go ahead and connect the shoulder slope into the neck like so. Then from the shoulder slope, I'm going to come down to mark my arm length. I have to get your arm length, divide your bust by 6, then add 1.5 inch. To have a straight line, I'm going to make sure I have the 7.5 inches I have on the shoulder line at this point, and I'm going to connect the 2 points together like this, and I'll extend the line across as well. So this now become our chest line. I'm going to come to this line here, divide it into 2 equal halves to get the midpoint, and I'm going to mark it here. On that point, I'm going to go in by half an inch. And I'm going to divide my bust circumference here on the chest line, and I'm going to connect this point together like this, and I'm going to use my French curve to complete it into the chest line like this. So I'm going to divide my bust span by 2. That is my nipple to nipple measurement. My nipple to nipple measurement is 7 divided by 2 is 3.5, and I'm going to mark it on all these lines. I'll go ahead and connect all these points together with my straight rule. Then to get our radius, we are going to measure the distance from our bust to our under bust. So mine is 3 inches. The distance from my bust line to my under bust is 3 inches. So I'm going to place my tape on this point here on the bust line. I'm going to mark that 3 inches all round. Make sure your tape is placed properly at the center on the bust line like this. Hold it very firm so that it won't move around. Go ahead and mark whatever you have as your distance from your bust line to your under bust all around. You can see how I'm moving my hand and my tape at the same time. So after completing the circle, I'm going to come down to the waistline. I'm going to use a straight dart for this blouse. So I'm going to mark 1 inch on both sides of this line. If your bust is big, you can mark 1.5 inch. So I'll mark 1 inch on both sides of the line. I'll mark the same thing on the under bust, mark 1 inch on both sides. And then I'm going to connect the 2 points together like this. Then I'm going to use my French curve to connect it all the way to the bust line. You see how I'm placing my curve rule like this. So I'm going to extend this line from the chest line all the way to our radius, and then I'm going to mark the 1 inches also on both sides of this line. Then I'm going to connect it all the way to the bust line as well. So I'm going to use my French curve here to just connect the points together like this. Then from the chest line, I'm going to come down by half an inch. Then I'll go in by half an inch, and I'm going to connect these little points together like this. Then I'm going to bring my French curve and I'm going to connect from here all the way to that point we just made like this. And I'm going to connect from that point all the way to the under bust like so. Then I'm going to come to the armhole here and I'm going to divide this into 2 equal halves. I'm going to mark the midpoint. Then I'll come down from that point by half an inch and I'm going to extend that point outside like this. Then I'm going to connect from top here all the way to that point we just made. Please pay attention to how I place my curve. Then I'm going to connect from that point all the way to the under bust like this. Remember, it's a 3-part corset, so I'm going to come down from here by 2 inches. Then at the middle, I'm going to come down by 2.5 inches. At the middle, come down by 2.5 inches. At the side, come down by 2 inches. And I'm going to connect these little points together like this and like this. So let's go ahead and label it. This is A1 and this is A2. We are going to make these two pieces to be one piece later. So I'll go ahead and input my body measurement, my bust circumference divided by 4, the 2 inches for that, I'll replace it, and then 1 inch for seam allowance. I'll come to the waist, my waist divided by 4, the 2 inches for that, I'll replace it, and then add 1 inch for seam allowance. And I'm going to connect all these points together like this. So this is basically it for the front pattern. I'll go ahead and cut it out so we can work on the back pattern. Like I said, we are going to join these upper pieces to be one. So I'm going to bring in another fresh paper and I'm going to tape these two pieces down. I'm going to use my tape to hold them together, and I'm going to place this on this new paper here, and I'm going to trace it out. So we now have it as one piece. I'll go ahead and cut it out now. So this is the one we'll be working with. So you can see we have the front pattern complete. So we are going to keep this aside so we can work on the back pattern. So I'm going to come down to mark my bust point just the way we did on the front pattern, my under bust and my waistline. So I'll go ahead and extend all this line across as well. So this is my waistline, my under bust line and my bust line. I'm going to come to the top here, divide my shoulder by 2, and I'm going to mark it here just the way we did on the front pattern. Come down by 1 inch for my shoulder slope, mark my basic neck 3 inches by 3 inches. I'm going to connect the point together like this, and I'm going to connect the shoulder slope into the neck like this. Then I'm going to come down to mark my arm length. We are literally repeating what we did on the front pattern, and I'm going to connect the point together with my straight rule, and I'm going to extend the line across as well. So this is our chest line. The next thing is to get our armhole. I'm going to divide this line into 2 equal halves. On that point, I'm going to go in by 1/2 inch, divide my bust circumference on the chest line, and we are going to connect all these points together like so. So I'm going to divide my bust span by 2, and I'm going to mark it on all this line. We are basically repeating everything we did on the front pattern. Your nipple to nipple divided by 2, I'm going to mark it on all these lines, connect all these points together with my straight rule. Then on the waistline, I'm going to mark 1/2 inch on both sides of this line, and I'm going to connect from the chest line all the way to that point like this. So I'll go ahead and impute my body measurement, my bust divided by 4, add 1 inch for seam allowance, my waist divided by 4, I'm going to mark it on the waistline, the 1 inch for that, I'm going to replace it here, and then 1 inch for seam allowance. Then I'm going to connect the points together like this. Then on the chest line, I'm going to come down by 1/2 inch, and I'm going to connect it all the way to the chest line. Then I'm going to mark 1.5 inches for my lacing bar. So if you are going to use zip for yours, make sure you include your zipper allowance on the pattern paper. And if you are going to use rope, like create loops for yours, make sure you subtract the inches you want to use for yours. So this is basically it for the pattern drafting. I'll go ahead and cut it out now. So if at this point you are yet to subscribe to my channel, please do well to hit on the subscribe button, subscribe, like, share, and if you like what I'm doing, make sure to leave a comment to encourage me as well. So this is the front pattern and the back pattern. Thank you so much for staying tuned. See you in my next video. Bye.